Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're an incredibly beautiful woman.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
No, you're too beautiful. This movie's about three grifters heading to Vegas for one final score. When Dawn goes down on that truck driver, you gotta smell the desperation.
I know that. That's what I love about her. There's no pretense. No fucking bullshit.
America's sweetheart here's got a potty mouth.
Of course, if I were to become involved, we have to do a little work on the part.
What do you mean? I spent a year on the script, so.
I know, and it's good. But she's not real yet. To start with, what kind of name is Dawn? I'm from the projects in Detroit, and I ain't ever met a sister named Dawn.
Well, the script's just a blueprint. It's not written in stone. I hear Curtis is still trying to get that crazy black Cleopatra made. Is it true he's got some mob money tied up in this thing?
My husband has his hands full with the music side right now. That's why I didn't want to bother him with our meeting today.
So say we do decide to get in bed with you on this. Will Curtis even let you do it? I hear he's got you on a pretty tight leash.
That won't be a problem, Jerry.
In the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, if Jay-Z was involved in her murder, if he did hire a hitman to murder her, what would the incentive be? Because back then, there were a lot of rumors that he had multiple mistresses and that he had multiple love children. And so I was trying to think, why would there be an incentive for him to potentially want to murder her, when he has all these mistresses? And one thing that I think would be a major incentive is that none of these mistresses had gone on the record. And Kathy was considering going on the record to tell her story. Here's another thing that happened around this time. Beyoncé was pregnant at this time. Now, when I first started talking to Kathy, I did not know that Beyoncé was pregnant.
So you're a married woman now. Could you more relate to Sharon? Because Sharon was not messing around.
She wasn't. Thank God I've never had anything like this happen. And I pray that it never does. I don't think it will. Because fortunately, the crazy obsessed people that are in my life, in Jay's life, we have really good security. So hopefully I won't have to be in there fighting. But I'm a Houston girl, so if I have to, I'll put a little throw in there if I need to.
Beyoncé knows his found success is everything from a single lady to a girl who runs the world. Now the Texas-born singer is preparing to play the lead in the remake of A Star is Born, directed by Hollywood veteran Clint Eastwood.
I didn't think that I would ever get the opportunity to be the star. And I met with Clint, and I was so nervous, and I know that it is the biggest opportunity of my life.
Well, it's a longer story than even Maestro, because it was a movie that Clint Eastwood was going to direct with Beyoncé. He finished it over the weekend. He said, let's make the movie. So we made it. And then we were at the Chateau Marmont, and Annie Lennox was singing at the Grammys, I believe. And it was so powerful. And in that moment, I'm like watching her sing, and I said to Clint, maybe we should do this Star is Born movie. Look at this. Like, there's nothing more powerful than somebody singing. And he thought about it for a day or two, and it sort of, as he is, he had moved on. But I couldn't get it out of my head. I couldn't get that Annie Lennox performance out of my head. And I went to bed that night and I saw the beginning of the movie. And I said, here's the first 10 minutes of the film, which wound up not being the first 10 minutes. And I said, and he said, okay, if you can make it for under $25 million and you can get Beyoncé, I'll do it. And so then I went to Beyoncé's house, and Jay-Z was watching Judge Judy. I still remember.
No.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Stop it.
And I was freaking. I remember I had this weird cough when I was pitching it to her. It was so crazy. I'm like, and then this, and then, and it was crazy. And then she was incredible, and so was he. And we developed it for like a year together, and she was, I mean, she's one of the greatest people of all time. And then that fell through.
When it comes to changing directions, Bill, I know Clint Eastwood and Beyoncé were at one time attached to Star is Born. What happened, and how did you sort of deal with maybe starting over?
You know, time just happened. You know, there was a moment where that was the best version of the movie, and then all of a sudden, you know, I mean, Beyoncé got pregnant at one point. Okay, you know, do we wait? Do we do this? You know, she was, you know, amazing about all that stuff. She never, you know, she always understood if we were going to take a different direction. And then, you know, Clint went off and did another movie. So things, like we were all saying before, it's the plate spinning, you know.
Nuts this week after our interview with Beyoncé last Sunday led to fevered speculation about her baby bump and whether she was faking her pregnancy. At Sunday night, it consumed us day and night. So we went back and analysed the tapes, every shot, every angle, frame by frame, to bring you the truth, the whole truth about Bumpgate. Our interview with Beyoncé was destined to be revealing.
How you doing?
I'm good.
But what this moment exposed to some even caught us by surprise.
Red flag. Beyoncé, you know damn well that belly was a prosthetic. Who in their right mind would think that this is a real baby bump? Not only that, but look at Sis's face. She knows she was damn wrong for that. You know, when I do that face, that's when I know I'm full of shit. Now, I will say, in her defense, we do not know if she put on the baby bump because she didn't want people to know how far along she really was. However, it wouldn't make any sense because she had already went on MTV and showed a full belly. And then all of a sudden, she's on this interview and the belly deflates. And this is why people have a hard time believing that she actually carried Blue Ivy. Now, I will be more sensitive about this because she has gone through a lot of miscarriages. I don't know what it feels like to have that type of traumatic experience on my body. I can sympathize with Beyonce's trials and tribulations and her struggles getting pregnant. And I can also simultaneously drag her ass for putting us through this damn foolishness. Red flag.
Here it is again, slowed down. As Beyoncé sits down with Molly Meldrum, her dress folds. That crease caused a worldwide controversy. So, like the Zapruder film, we went through the unseen footage, frame by frame.
I cannot miss it.
Before the interview, Beyoncé is fitted with a microphone. And then, from another angle, as she goes to her seat, a makeup artist blocks our view.
Red flag. What was the reason for this damn report? Did the belly deflate or not? I find it very suspicious that at the exact moment Beyonce decides to sit down is when the makeup artist blocks our view. Y'all playing with us for these damn views.
But then there's this angle from the side. As Beyoncé sits down, there's no sign of any straps that could hold padding in place. But for us, the biggest clue that she is expecting is this.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I got a shock as much as anyone else, and you're glowing.
Thank you.
Wait to talk to you about this Beyoncé baby bump conspiracy rumor, fake pregnancy thing that's being alleged. I just don't even know where to start, so I'm going to take you through it step by step. Here's how the rumor got started. Beyoncé recently, like last Sunday, appeared on an Australian show. And when she sat down, the baby bump squashed, bent, and crumpled. Hold on. As ridiculous as it sounds, you know I did my research and we've got the video to prove. Hold on. So people started questioning, was this baby bump real or fake? Now, being a woman who, you know, I had my baby bump. Many of you have had baby bumps. I never remember my baby bump squat. Just take a look at the video. Okay, so here's Beyonce and she's walking out. And everything is fine. She's 5 months pregnant. Then she sits down and, okay, no, we're going to rerun it until you see it. Let's do it in slow motion. You'll notice she's either giving birth to a Frisbee or Stewie from Family Guy. Look at the shape. Look, do you see? There it is. There it is. What that is, B? Okay, now let's bring it back and freeze it. Yeah, oh yeah, we're analyzing. There it is. What is that? Is that a baby bump? I don't know. I was on bed rest the whole time. I'm not exactly sure. But I can tell you, when I would get out of the bed and sit up at a kitchen table, I wouldn't be able to sit like that. Like, I was so concerned about my back and the baby. Even at 5 months, you know, I sat like this, right? Well, look, Beyoncé has denied these rumors, saying that they're stupid and they're ridiculous. And, you know, there've also been words that, well, she took a picture in a bikini. It's on the internet. Okay, take a look at the picture. Okay, be very clear. Then I'm pregnant too. I mean, anybody who's had a good smothered pork chop or a good burrito, girls, come on, we all get this. Morel, my makeup artist, can make a good one. Right, Morel? I mean, I'm not. I'm gonna get red later. Look.
I mean, Wendy's being hella messy. That's number one. But number two, it is quite possible that I must say that there are some women out there who do not show while they're carrying. And it also depends on how far along she was in this picture. We don't know if this picture was taken months prior. So I do have to interject and add that. In Beyonce's case, the deflated baby bump, that does not help your case, sis. And another thing that does not help your case is that you have a pattern of being a habitual liar, allegedly.
I'm not saying that she's not pregnant there. All I'm saying is, honestly, that proves absolutely nothing to me. But I would like to believe that Beyonce is really pregnant. I don't like to believe that people play around with pregnancy. I've had so many miscarriages and I beg God so much for my own. So I just don't like to. And all right, here's some alleged conspiracy theories. Number one, the baby is helping Beyonce's sagging recording career. It is sagging. Yeah. I mean, the statistics show, but you forget all about that because you're so focused on, oh, Beyonce's pregnant. Number two, these are conspiracy theories. Beyonce's pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress away.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I love. This is what I love about this show. You can't see everything that I can see, but people are snapping their necks in nodation. How about this one? The alleged woman over in allegedly Trinidad with the alleged 10-year-old alleged son, allegedly by Jay-Z. Beyonce's trying to keep up with her, allegedly.
Red flag. Well, since our good sis Wendy brought it up, we might as well address the rumors of Jay-Z's secret love child, allegedly. So, the Christian Post, yes, y'all, Christian Post, published an article on September 15th of 2011, a few days after Kathy passed away and also a few days after Beyonce's birthday. Actress singer Beyoncé Knowles revealed her pregnancy to the world last month at the MTV Video Music Awards. Beyoncé and her husband, rapper Jay-Z, are reportedly thrilled with the news. However, claims have now emerged from Star Magazine that Jay-Z already fathered a child 9 years ago. I mean, the streets already knew this, but welcome to the party, Christian Post. And why are y'all reporting on gossip? Star Magazine reported that Trinidad model Chanel Scott, the alleged mother of Jay-Z's love child, originally identified her son's father as Malik Saeed, but DNA tests have proven that the boy was not his.
You are not.
At the time he was born, my son Malik thought he was his child, but they did DNA tests, said Gerard Andrews, father of son Malik Saeed. It's been determined that the child is Jay-Z's baby. Beyoncé is said to be aware of the situation and had been furious at first, but has come to accept the child and her husband's past. Whether or not the baby was conceived while Jay-Z was dating Beyoncé is unclear. Well, I'm not surprised because she barely acknowledges her daddy's other kids. Jay-Z is reported to be in contact with Scott and has expressed interest in being involved in the boy's life. She says he's a good father and he has a lot of interest in the boy, Gerard told Star. It was a big old mess at one time, but I think once they resolved the issue of fatherhood, of paternity, I think things started to level off. September 16, 2011, only a day after it was published, we have another article by Mahogany Vogue titled Payoff. Man who claims Jay-Z has a secret son recants his story. Red flag. Only 24 hours later, how much did he wire to Trinidad? Back in 2007, rumors surfaced that Jay-Z had a secret son by Trinidadian model Chanel Scott. Reports claim that Jay paid Chanel $1 million to keep her quiet. That's not quiet enough. This man is a cheap ass. And she and her now 9-year-old son Issa have been living a very comfortable and quiet life in Trinidad. Now I know $1 million can go far in many other places, but that's not enough to take care of your baby and to keep him quiet, and also to not have a relationship with him. You need to pay up more. But of course, we have this man who is stingy with his pocket, Mr. Scrooge McJ. Well, now that Beyoncé is preggo, media sources are challenging whether or not this will indeed be the rapper's first child. Well, even Issa is not his first child. We have to run it back to Ramir. And also, sis, I forgot her name, Lord. But yeah, those two have been very, very loud. Those two kids, those would have been his first two. And allegedly, some other ones or whatnot. But, they haven't come out in public. But Ramir and the other one, they need to get the DNA test first. Well, now that Beyoncé is... Okay, I said that. As I reported yesterday, a 67-year-old man named Andrews, who is the father of Chanel's ex-boyfriend Malik Saeed, reached out to Star magazine, claiming that Jay-Z was indeed the father of his grandson, even going as far as to say they had DNA tests to prove it. But when the New York Daily News contacted Andrews, he switched his story up and said that he has no knowledge. Oh my God. But when the New York Daily News contacted Andrews, he switched his story up. But when the New York Daily News contacted Andrews, he switched his story up and said that he has no knowledge of a DNA test, nor has... But when the New York Daily News contacted Andrews, he switched up his story and said that he has no knowledge of a DNA test, nor has he spoken to Chanel or his son about the child. Yeah, he done got paid off. Or somebody done threatened him and said, look at here, Pops, you gonna have to be quiet on the island, Lord. As I reported yesterday, a 67-year-old man named Andrews, who is the father of Chanel's ex-boyfriend Malik Saeed, reached out to Star magazine, claiming that Jay-Z was indeed the father of his grandson, even going as far as to say they had DNA tests to prove it. But when the New York Daily News contacted Andrews, he switched up his story and said that he has no knowledge of a DNA test, nor has he spoken to Chanel or his son about the child. Yeah, he done got paid off. Or somebody done threatened him and said, look at here, Pops, you gonna have to be quiet on the island, quiet on the creek. Chanel is now married to a professional basketball player, and Andrews now also refutes his previous claim about Jay-Z purchasing her Trinidadian home. I know Chanel, but I've never spoken to her or my son about this. They're very private people. The stuff about the DNA test was on the internet. It's all from an old article on the internet, he said. I don't know if it's true. The house wasn't purchased by Jay-Z. It was paid for by her present husband. Back in 2007, Jay spoke on the rumor, denying all allegations and saying it's a classic case of exploitation. There is no truth to these ridiculous rumors. Now, you know if Jay-Z's coming out, he's had enough. He doesn't come out very often. People should be ashamed of using this kind of story and exploiting a child for publicity and ratings. Jay-Z, that sounds real cute and all, but Jay-Z paid. Mahogany, you my type of blogger right here. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. LOL, sis, I'm sticking to it too. When this story resurfaced yesterday, Jay-Z called that man out and cut the check. He cut it so quickly, y'all. Point blank, period, end of story. I know that's right. Now, if that wasn't enough, Little Fizz and Moniece have entered the chat. Now, what do they have to do with Jay-Z and Beyoncé, you say? Well, in October of 2025, Moniece went on a rant. Now, let's read this article that was published by Rhymes with Snitch, News from the Bathroom Wall. And it's titled, Little Fizz Confirms Jay-Z's Secret Love Child. Okay, 18 years ago, there were rumors that rapper Jay-Z fathered a child with Trinidadian model Chanel Scott. Moniece Slaughter claims her son's father, B2K singer Lil Fizz, confirmed it. The confirmation came after Moniece lashed out about April Jones' interview with Carlos King, where April admits she never loved Fizz despite their hookup. No, I believe she never loved him. She was just trying to get back at her baby daddy Omarion. She was just doing it out of spite. And this is what happens when you react off of emotion. You look crazy. Now, continuing. Moniece wrote, "As you all know, I'm currently battling a clinical depression. So I've been popping in and out on IG. However, this was sent to me. The minute markers between the times at Carlos King asked her the question and she finished giving her answer, we marked in the DM. Here's my response for both individuals. Go straight to hell. At Carlos King, you know damn well I never said she and I were friends. What I said was I felt like she broke girl code. And I felt like it was a betrayal to at Omarion more so than it was to me." Well, to be honest with you, Omarion, I don't think he was really pressed about April. I think he was more pressed about Fizz because he stopped that bag real quick. They canceled all of them B2K concerts. Wasn't it the Scream tour or whatever they was doing with Bow Wow and all them? Continuing. Now, as far as she's concerned, she can go to hell with you and my son's father, because he got on national stage to apologize to at Omarion, and she just sat on your show at Carlos King and gave a blanketed apology. What I find to be the most interesting is that in one of the voice notes that at Just Hilarious Official, why is she always in some damn mess? Just with the mess, I mean, I guess that is her name. She said exactly what America's most famous globetrotter said about you, which is, she was never in love with my BD. But that is indeed what they told the world. Now, Moniece, you know it was all scripted, sis. They told the world that because they were getting a check, okay? That's it, that's all. And it was like a 3-for-1 deal. April could get back at Omarion, Fizz could get back at Omarion, and also they could make money off of it. That's it, that's all.
What is the status of your relationship?
We're together.
Yes.
I don't care what they're doing. That's the point. I don't give a.
Okay. You do care.
It's when there's a kid in the
You guys
mix.
disagree.
There's a kid in the mix. That's what I care about.
We know who you are behind the camera.
She hasn't been to a game in I don't know how long.
Right. I personally.
Red flag. April, I think you must have forgotten how Moniece was in season 1. You don't remember when she hemmed Amanda up? Oh, I'm pretty sure you do.
You know, we've interviewed Amanda, recently, and she told me that.
Yeah, Amanda.
Like, that fight with Moniece was literally like the first physical altercation she's been in like her whole life.
Yeah, no, because she told me when it happened, and I was like, oh man, because actually they did. They filmed me with Moniece in the beginning. If you remember when we were at the sex toy store, and that was when I told Moniece, please, when you go meet with Amanda, do not fight her. And then all of a sudden they come back and they say that she got her hair pulled and stuff, and I said, oh Jesus. But no one can stop Moniece because she's just crazy.
I've been to jail for cracking a bitch's sternum and fracturing her cheekbones. I'm not going back. So I'll sit at home. And I'll sit in my dressing room and we won't deal. That's what we're gonna do. Don't leave.
Oh shoot.
Don't leave. There was a code that was broken.
Well, guess what? It happens all the times in groups.
And I think
Look at Jason O'Messy behind with his tight-ass suit. Yeah, I know you were living for this moment, but you know what? I actually do like Jason Lee. I think he's probably the closest to Wendy Williams that we have right now. And do y'all know that Jason is the mayor of Stockton? Lord, listen, I don't know what goes on in California and what's in that water, but it looks like anybody could be a mayor at this point. What is going on with the United States?
People get confused that people saw this relationship with me and and they thought, this was such a great relationship. It was the most terriblest relationship.
To be real, you know what I'm saying? Fizz been my buddy since Jump Street. And when he didn't want to disclose to me how serious the relationship was, that's when I knew it was real.
J-Book, why are you sitting up here looking like you done went through a whole heartbreak? He looks like he not gonna cry. Just like Mary did in her video. Like, is there something that we need to know? Are you going through it, my brother? That Millennium Tour being canceled must have had him tight.
What's up is it's unfortunate that you with his brother before you with him. You get what I'm saying?
It's not
No.
Okay,
my brother. Okay.
Because you know that I know certain things.
Okay,
I don't want to have to put nobody
I do. It's group
all
member.
on the table.
It's group member.
I'm not
Open
gonna
up
say
the
that.
box then, baby. Trust me, I ain't the one to with. Trust me, I ain't the one to with.
They
Hey, you want me to say it for you? Do you want me to say it for you so your clip is empty?
There was other relationships that were happening with members with other family members.
Red flag. See, I knew J-Bug was too fine for his own good. Listen here, I'm a taken woman now. I'm speaking on behalf of my 15-year-old teenage self. The family member they speak of was none other than Omarion's mama. Allegedly, these boy moms, boy, I tell you, they're literally the rebrand of MILFs.
Hey, your name?
Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Alex. I did the Soul Train Scrabble board with Leslie, who is Omarion's mama.
Now we're gonna park Omarion, Little Fist, Moniece, and April in this whole love square. And we are going to add the men of B2K to our case study list. Best believe we will cover them soon enough. Let's continue. On At Love and Hip Hop. Now, what I will say is this. I love how she's tagging everybody, by the way. My BD, to this day, will never stand up for me. I don't expect him to. I've given up that hope. But what he will do is show up for everybody else's BM. From that girl Chantel or Chanel, I don't remember, who he told me and my parents had a child by Jay-Z to April. Red flag. Only a water sign would be able to expose Jay-Z in the middle of a rant. In case you all do not know, our sis Moniece is a Pisces. First we have Blue Cantrell squawking. Then Kathy, rest in peace to her, she's another water sign who is literally exposing him beyond the grave. And then we have Moniece giving us the final blow for the knockout here. And if we really want to be technical, he and Omarion were indeed friends, just like she and I were friends. She herself invited me to her B-day while she was pregnant with Mega at she and at Omarion's house in Granada Hills. I rode with at Morgan Hardman. There were no cameras there. When at Omarion was on tour with my best friend after he signed to at Rich Forever, I came to the same house in Granada Hills and bought her breakfast. There were no cameras present for either one. Years later, unbeknownst to me, she was already with my BD, but she texted me and asked for a referral to get her boobs done. I was in the movies and couldn't answer. Lastly, at Miss O'Fleur, who is at Omarion's manager and a family friend, called my mother and asked for my help. I called Michelle and she informed me that a man named James, who at the time was representing Omari in his custody battle, needed my, okay, they didn't have anything more. Ooh, that rant was very long, but thank you, Moniece, for your services. Next.
And how about this? And this is the most disgusting one. Beyonce is going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body. I don't believe that one. Well, here's one that's even more disgusting than that. They're adopting, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth. I don't know. So we're going to do a little experiment. We have 2 pregnant Wendy staffers, Suzanne and Charla. Come on out. Charla, I must tell you, in the red dress is due in November.
Late November.
Late November. But Suzanne is due in February, like Beyonce.
Exactly.
Charla, first you sit like a pregnant lady sits.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh. John, maybe we need you to hold the chair, just steady it for the girls. Well, you didn't do anything weird. Belly didn't turn into a frisbee.
Here.
Suzanne, let's see you sit. John's gonna hold the chair. Oh. Ooh. Experiment done.
So I was dissuaded from pursuing the story and it really bothered me. And at the time, the official record said that she died of an aneurysm. And this was according to the coroner's office, and I did not buy it, and my sources did not buy it, and there was other signs, according to my sources, that she didn't die of an aneurysm, that was the cover-up, and that she potentially was murdered. So what ended up happening with Star is we did talk about her death, briefly touched about it in the magazine. And this decision was not made by me. This decision was made by the editor-in-chief. But it did turn out to be a blurb in a bigger story about Jay-Z. And this ran in 2011, September of 2011, and it was in this Star issue. The cover was Newlywed Kim, Miserable Already. That was in reference to her marriage, Kim Kardashian's marriage to Chris Humphries, which I covered that as well, and her wedding to Chris, or her fake wedding, I should say. But that's a whole other story. Anyways, it was in that issue. But the bigger story that we went with was shock for Beyonce, Jay-Z's secret love child. And so the bigger story that we ran with was Jay-Z's secret son. So it was a story about Jay-Z's alleged secret son. And just for the record, I did not work on that story. I only worked on the story about Kathy White's alleged affair with Jay-Z. I did not work on the story about Jay-Z's secret son. And so I can't vouch for whether that story is valid or not, but I will say that I know that Star Magazine would not run that story. Their lawyers, who by the way were Bill Clinton's former lawyers at the time, the lawyers that Star had were lawyers that used to work for Bill Clinton. So these were solid lawyers. I know that they would never approve the Jay-Z secret son story if they did not have the evidence to back it up that was run through the lawyers before it made it to print. And that secret son story does not involve Kathy. That secret son story is about a woman named Chanel Scott, who also allegedly had an affair with Jay-Z, and not only had an affair with her, she allegedly got pregnant, and she allegedly was paid off by Jay-Z to keep quiet. And she was also, I was told, she was sent to Trinidad to kind of just go live a quiet life there and just kind of like get out of his hair.
I just have to clear something up here. Chanel was not a mistress. She actually was prior to Beyonce. They briefly dated between 2000 and 2001. Yes, y'all, around the same time he was dating Carmen Bryant, Rosario Dawson, Karen Steffens, Beyonce, and a whole host of other women. I done told y'all this man was a whore.
So think about this. If Kathy White indeed was having an affair with Jay-Z, and she talked to me at Star Magazine and went on the record and said, hey, I'm having an affair with Jay-Z, around the same time that they're about to announce that Beyonce is pregnant, well, guess what? That story would have overridden and overshadowed her pregnancy announcement. And I can promise you, they did not want that. So there's an incentive, right? Another incentive. After I talked to Kathy, I was told by sources that she did contact Jay-Z after she talked to me, and she told him that she was considering talking to me on the record and doing the story with me in Star Magazine. So I was told that by sources. And after that, she ended up dead. Now, there were other people that reported that not only did she tell Jay-Z that she was thinking about doing the story with me in Star Magazine, there are other people that reported that she told Jay-Z that unless he gave her X amount of money, that she was going to go public with this story. I can't prove that that happened, but other people have reported that. So that's something to consider. So I do believe, though, that she did contact Jay-Z after I talked to her and did tell him that she was considering doing this story with me. So he was aware of it. And then the next thing we know, a healthy 28-year-old woman ends up dead with a brain aneurysm, and things just don't seem to add up with that, right? Over the years, I ended up talking to other sources and meeting other sources that knew Kathy, and had inside information about what happened with her. And they told me that they 100% believe that Jay-Z, and they told me that Jay-Z has a network of people that protect him so he can get away with anything he wants. I was told, that he was, in with law enforcement, in with coroners, and I was actually explained in detail how someone like Jay-Z can pay a coroner, that amount of money and say, hey, please list this as something besides, a murder.
On January 10th of 2013, the New York Times reported that the New York City Office of Chief Medical Examiner, OCME, was reviewing more than 800 sexual assault cases in which a technician, now known to be Sarita Mitchell, may have mishandled evidence, resulting in incorrect reports being given to criminal investigators. Shortly thereafter, the Inspector General opened an investigation after receiving several requests to investigate the allegation. The Inspector General also learned that on April 19, 2013, Teresa Carrageen, Deputy Director of the Department of Forensic Biology within the OCME, resigned from her position for allegedly failing to follow lab protocol. As a result, the Inspector General then expanded the investigation to include this alleged failure. This investigation determined that the OCME employed Sarita Mitchell for 10 years, despite consistent poor reviews and underperformance from the beginning of her employment. Red flag. Sarita Mitchell has denied all allegations of DNA tampering, and she even came forward to deny any wrongdoing with the New York Times. On January 11th of 2013, titled Ex-Technician Denies Faulty DNA Work. A former New York City laboratory technician whose work on rape cases is now being scrutinized for serious mistakes said on Friday that she had been unaware that there were problems in her work and disputing an earlier report. Denied she had resigned under pressure. The former lab technician Sarita Mitchell said any problems must have been someone else's. Red flag, says he wasn't even going to take accountability here, Lord. My work, Miss Mitchell said. No, not my work. Okay, you could tell she is a boomer. Deny, deflect, and retreat. That is their motto. Earlier, the city medical examiner's office, where Miss Mitchell said she was employed from 2000 to 2011, said it was reviewing 843 rape cases handled by a lab technician who might have missed critical evidence. So far, it has finished looking over about half the cases and found 26 in which the technician had missed biological evidence and 19 in which evidence was commingled with evidence from other cases. In 7 cases where evidence was missed, the medical examiner's office was able to extract a DNA profile, raising the possibility that detectives could have caught some suspects sooner. The office declined to identify the technician. Documents said she quit in November of 2011 after the office moved to fire her once the supervisors had begun to discover deficiencies in her work. A city official who declined to be identified said Miss Mitchell was the technician. And November 2011, it coincides with Kathy's timeline. However, Miss Mitchell reached at her home in the Bronx on Friday, said she had never been told there were problems. It couldn't be me because your work gets checked, she said. You have supervisors. It appears that the issues with evidence tampering at the OCME's office did not just start in the 2000s. It actually preceded that. There was an expose published on January 27th of 1985 titled Chief Medical Examiner's Reports in Police Custody Cases Disputed. Once highly regarded, the accusations are being made against a medical examiner's office, once considered the finest in the world, the pathologists say is in disarray. Doctors cannot keep up with the workload of autopsies. The equipment in the laboratories is obsolete, and the laboratories are understaffed. Though the New York office was once a renowned center of teaching and research, today there is little of either. Mind you, this is in 1985, y'all. It's a mess, said Dr. Vincent J.M. DiMaio, the chief medical examiner of San Antonio, who has studied the office in New York. The New York office needs to be reorganized and re-equipped, and its staff, to put diplomatically, has to be re-evaluated. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. DiMaio, nothing has changed because they are still in the news for some bull. Among the other findings of the Times investigation are these. Homicide autopsies are often performed without the presence of a second doctor, a violation of city law. Administrative problems have held up autopsy reports for up to 6 months, creating court delays and angering prosecutors and defense lawyers. Dr. Gross's testimony in 2 recent murder trials contained inconsistencies and errors according to participants in the trials. The office lacks the equipment and the staff to perform laboratory tests that are routine elsewhere. New York alone, among major American cities, no longer maintains basic statistical records needed in compiling national figures on drug-related deaths. Red flag. As we can see, nothing changes if nothing changes. The New York OCME is still on the same type of time. Not only that, but there have been several recent high-profile cases that have taken over the news, and they have really highlighted the lack of oversight that the NYOCME has when they determine autopsies. One was a very well-known sexual deviant demon by the name of Jeffrey Epstein.
An autopsy was done today on the body of Jeffrey Epstein, a day after his apparent, but there's still no conclusion. New York's medical examiner says she needs more information before she's sure about the cause of death. As CBS 2's Mola Lenghi reports, that's one of several developments in the Epstein investigation.
The Bureau of Prisons said 66-year-old Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell early Saturday. Staff in Lower Manhattan at the Metropolitan Correctional Center tried to revive him, according to the Associated Press. Attorney General William Barr said Epstein's death raises serious questions. Just 2 weeks ago, Epstein was found semi-conscious on the floor of his jail cell there. Sources tell CBS News that following his apparent attempt, Epstein told authorities he feared powerful people might be trying to prevent him from cooperating with authorities. The New York Times reported Sunday Epstein had been taken off suicide watch and was supposed to have been checked by guards every 30 minutes, but that procedure was not being followed the night before he was found. Sources at the jail tell CBS News they often rely on certain inmates to assist guards in monitoring other inmates due to a lack of manpower. Arrested on July 6th, Epstein pleaded not guilty to federal charges that he enticed, recruited, and dozens of young girls at his homes in New York and Florida.
A doctor paid by Jeffrey Epstein's family is challenging the finding that the multi-million-dollar financier died by. But New York City's chief medical examiner says her office stands by its conclusion.
All right, joining us right now, former New York City medical examiner, Dr. Michael Baden. He's a forensic pathologist.
Well, I was asked by the brother, the next of kin, to be at the autopsy. And at the autopsy on day 1, there were findings that were unusual for hanging and more consistent with ligature homicidal.
I mean, there's that. This made me think of that movie Eyes Wide Shut. Remember with Tom Cruise about 20 years ago? Stanley Kubrick directed it. You know, this when people get a lot of money, people don't. What they don't realize is like a lot of the things you imagine, a lot of things you do or don't do are limited by your financial funds. When you have unlimited funds and your brain can go wild,
and you're a sicko,
and you have nefarious intentions, now all those barriers that are in front of you, you have people that don't ask any questions. I need you to pick this girl up and helicopter to this island. She's 14, whatever, get in the helicopter.
Wow.
Because if you have enough money, you can find somebody to do the job for you.
Another case was the case of Natasha Richardson. The late actress Natasha Richardson's autopsy was also conducted by the NYOCME. Now, her autopsy was not suspicious. I wanted to highlight her autopsy because she initially fell on a ski slope while she was on a trip in Mont Tremblant. When she fell, she experienced a brain injury, and that was caused by blunt force trauma to her head. And afterwards, her brain bled. Now, this might give us a reason as to why Kathy's autopsy was deemed as a brain aneurysm. And shout out to the sis who mentioned it in the comments. A brain aneurysm can indeed be caused by blunt force trauma.
The New York City Medical Examiner says it was the fall that killed actress Natasha Richardson. The autopsy report says the 45-year-old daughter of one of the royal families of the theater suffered an epidural hematoma, bleeding between the brain and the skull after a blunt force injury. She fell on a ski slope outside Montreal Monday. She waved off medical attention, but an hour later suffered a severe headache and was rushed to the hospital. Richardson was transferred to New York Tuesday and died here Wednesday, surrounded by family.
Another example that may give us an indication as to how her autopsy was handled or mishandled is through the use of drugs. Now, remember in the last part, there was a blog that said that she may have been given a drug.
Dr. Ollie Krish is the director of the Arkansas Neuroscience Institute at CHI St. Vincent in Little Rock. It's here in the OR where he spends most of his day.
On average, we do about 10 to 15 a week.
A distinguished neurosurgeon with 30 years experience, he's operated on patients from all around the world. Recently, though, he's noticed an alarming trend.
Recently, I've seen more and more young patients presenting with hemorrhages, bleeds in the brain, that normally you don't see in a younger age group. You usually have 1 or 2 patients every 3 to 4 months. But all of a sudden, we have 2 to 3 patients within 1 week.
Dr. Krish says those bleeds, which typically occur over decades in older patients with high blood pressure, are the direct result of drug abuse in adolescents and young adults. Dr. Krish says he's seen patients who are using meth, cocaine, and heroin, but he also says marijuana has similar effects, and he cautions that with marijuana becoming legal in a lot of states, he's concerned that these cases will grow. There's times he's had to stop actually in the middle of surgery because the brain is so swollen from marijuana use that he has to close back up and then redo, go work on the surgery again the next day.
And last but not least, Kim Kardashian also suffered a brain aneurysm.
This morning, scary health news from a major celebrity.
There's a little aneurysm. Whoa.
Entrepreneur and reality TV star Kim Kardashian revealing she was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm in the premiere of The Kardashians, shown getting a scan and explaining her diagnosis.
They're like, just stress. And I'm like,
brain aneurysms are caused by blood vessels swelling in the brain. Many are small and don't cause symptoms, but become deadly if the vessels rupture.
Last night, I was like, why the is this happening?
In the show, the mother of 4 emotionally explaining she's been under stress from her relationship with her ex-husband, rapper Kanye West, who now goes by Ye. The two divorced in 2021 after 7 years of marriage. In recent years, West has been under a cloud of controversy for offensive comments and erratic behavior. Kardashian also saying that she recently developed a skin condition from the turmoil.
I was pretty tested, I will say. Very tested. I mean, I have psoriasis again. I felt it coming in.
The star has been opening up more on her relationship with West.
I always felt like I had a little bit of Stockholm syndrome.
Saying in a recent interview that West hadn't seen their children in months and reflecting on her difficult decision to end the relationship.
I think that, when you have kids, it's definitely harder to leave than it is to stay.
I find it extremely suspicious that Kanye was also the one who wrote the song Blood on the Leaves, and I played that in the part before the last part where he mentioned the whole entire situation that Jay-Z had, where he said, you had to be a side chick and you can't stand in the crowd or Jay's gonna get you. I don't remember what the hell he said. Red flag. He said some nonsense. But either way, she also suffered from a brain aneurysm. Now, we don't know the reason, and again, this is all speculation.
Sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. JC called me, bro. You still ain't called me. JC called me. Hey, bro, JC, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man. Give it up for JC, yo. Hey, yo, check this out. Hey, yo, man. Hey, yo, is doing a lot of things, man. Most importantly, He had a recital that he has to be at the Blue. But I reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Yes, sir. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This is my brother.
Red flag. You ignore Kanye when he calls, but quick to pick up the line when Diddy calls. So when it comes to deviant, pissy-ass behavior, there you show up. Now, Kanye is a lot of things, but one thing I'll say is he is extremely or was extremely loyal to our good brother Jay. You had this man running around acting a plum fool on the MTV VMA stage, defending your wife's honor when he snatched that damn mic from Taylor Swift's hands. You had him and his hot dog neck roll up on the stage and try to snatch the award from Beck. You sicked him on all of us. He was singing your praises for 40 days and 40 nights. And you couldn't even show up to his wedding. I know it was a damn sham of a marriage, but still, he would have done the same for you. And the only reason you didn't show up is because you said you were beefing with your wife. He was very defensive about it on his song Friends from his album 444, saying, I ain't going to nobody nothing when me and my wife beefing. I don't care if the house on fire. I ain't leaving. Ty, take care of my kids after he done grieving. If y'all don't understand that, we ain't meant to be friends. Red flag. You're not a good friend. You're not a good boss. You're not a good supervisor. You're not a good manager. You're not a good ally.
I don't want that job. Don't. What? Did you kneel to what you stand? Okay. I think we've passed kneeling. Yeah, I think it's time to go into actionable items.
Everybody knows what it is now. It's time we move on from kneeling. But Cap did more than just kneel. I mean, he was working with the communities and he was doing stuff beyond just bringing awareness to it. Why don't you bring him into this initiative? Do you plan to involve him?
That you have to ask him. I'm not his boss. I can't just bring him into something. He has to. That's for him to say. And you speak about it as if it's in the past tense. You say he did more and he was.
Still doing it,
Yeah. He's.
Know your rights.
Huh?
Know your rights, can't.
Yeah. So he's currently doing action items. Right. That's his version of action item. This is our version of the action item.
Have you talked to him about bringing him into this project?
We had a conversation. That's the further.
By the way, we have too. Our Players Coalition have. We have also.
You're not a good brother. You're not a good husband. And you're also not a good artist as well. What are you good at, Jay-Z? Oh, I know. Lying, thieving, deceiving, cheating, and sometimes telling the truth and being benevolent, but only if it benefits you. Go see the damn therapist. Clinical at that, please. Now we're gonna park Kanye right here and Diddy right here because we have about 5 more parts. I'm trying to wrap this up by September. We only have 6 more parts at most of this damn case study, so we're gonna make it worth our while. We'll put Diddy and Kanye in the same damn part. Hell, make it a 2-for-1 special.
It's B.I.G.'s brother.
Yes, sir.
It's Brooklyn's own Brooklyn.
Now, you know damn well he showed up to pillage some more items from B.I.G. What else are you going to harvest to use in you and your wife's altar?
So I appreciate you. He came 5,000 miles away to come here to Brooklyn to represent the B.I.G. Make some noise for home.
If you take people like Jay-Z and fucking Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars Liars are now the face of our culture.
And all we can say is based on the corruption at the NYOCME. And also Kathy being a very healthy individual before she passed. And yes, healthy individuals can get brain aneurysms, but unfortunately the timing was way too suspicious for it to be from natural causes. Now let's read yet another article. Oh Lord, how many articles do we have to go through? Titled The True Story Surrounding the Passing of Jay-Z's Mistress Kathy White. And it was published by Diary of a Hollywood Street King. I find it fascinating that this lady's autopsy report never came out. Neither did any of this fascinating information find its way to the media, not even the Inquirer. There are several passings associated with both Jay-Z and Beyoncé. There was a bodyguard recently packed right up out of here.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z fired their late bodyguard for hiring a prostitute while on duty for them. It has emerged the couple were forced to let Norman, known as Dutch Giant, go after discovering he had hired the services of a prostitute while he was supposed to be working for them in Las Vegas.
New claims have surfaced regarding the bodyguard of Jay-Z and Beyoncé. According to the New York Daily News, Norman Oosterbroek, also known as the Dutch Giant, reportedly got fired because Jay and Beyoncé learned that he had allegedly hired a prostitute while on duty. The pair was also said to have found video and photographic evidence suggesting that he was involved in a lewd act with a family passport, but further details are not known. The musical couple was reportedly outraged by Norman's actions because they trusted him with their lives. And now that they have a daughter, they fear he would be a danger to their family. Word is, once the news was revealed to the showbiz industry, he struggled to find a new position. The bodyguard, who has also protected the likes of Lady Gaga and Rihanna, was tragically tasered to death by Florida police in early September after he broke into a neighbor's mansion and had a fight with the owner.
They and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyoncé, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there. See, what's done in the dark will definitely come in the light. Keep your threats up. I'm here today, and what I got to say, I'm gonna say it. So don't make idle threats to me. Cause see, I ain't Biggie. See, I ain't Beanie Sigels. I ain't Freeway. How you wrote all them off the minute they did for you to get you to the top. All them writing for you, and then the minute you get a little taste of success, you wrote them off. You just totally said, I don't know him. Say you don't know me. I dare you. I dare you. Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it. See, hardly nobody knows, but I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on top. But there's one thing about me, bro. I can't be bought. Jay-Z and Puffy wanted Biggie killed. Bottom line. You don't have to believe me. Believe the facts. Here's a man that wanted to leave Bad Boy. He wanted to do his own thing. He mentioned several times how he was tired of being used and abused. That he was bigger than Bad Boy itself. Somebody and we ain't gonna call no more names, dangled a bogus contract in front of his face so he wouldn't leave the company. How I know I was there. Another thing, Jay-Z wanted him out of the industry, period, so he could take over and be the biggest hip-hop artist around.
Diddy's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, passed away last month. Did you guys know this? Because I did not know this until I was just sitting in the pickup line at my daughter's school and I was mindlessly scrolling.
The media control in this country is amazing. So this is gossip from the street on Beyoncé. Word is on the streets, again, all alleged. Beyoncé is not as innocent as you guys would like to think she is. I really don't know how true the story below is, but I will say I know for a fact that more than 70% of the story below is true, and there is more to the story that was not told. If you have ever wondered anything about B, here's your chance to find out all the dirt. Number 1, Rita Ora. Jay-Z and Beyonce have threesomes with new songstress Rita Ora. Beyonce and Rita have a close relationship, if you know what I mean. Beyonce likes to get it on with Rita without Jay-Z, which has caused strains in their relationship. Think about it. Why else would Beyonce, who is very insecure when it comes to other female acts, have Rita Ora, a pretty young thing, around her husband 24/7? Not only that, but she was hugged up behind him like she was his girl. It was really strange, all these pictures I done seen come out. Beyonce didn't like Rihanna, especially since Jay-Z had an affair with her, and that's why they are rarely photoed together, even though Beyonce and Jay-Z consider her a quote-unquote little sister. Now, I will say that him sleeping with Rihanna is just a rumor, and they have both denied it, along with the rumors of his alleged affair with Rihanna, and also his alleged threesomes with Rita Ora and his wife. There have been many other allegations of Jay-Z possibly being bisexual. Now, do I care about those rumors? No, because even if it's true, at the end of the day, his sexuality is between him and his wife in their bedroom. I could care less who they've been sexually entangled with. Now, what I do care about is consent. And if the people that participated in these so-called threesomes were at the age of consent, because then that's where I will have a problem. And as long as it is consensual between two adults, then I don't give a damn what they're doing in their bedroom.
They're selling their to like investment companies. It's very interesting.
Correct.
The fact that you mentioned Jay-Z though, in the last interview we spoke about Rihanna and Jay-Z, and when I asked you if you believe they had anything together, you said that you do believe that there might have been something that was going on with them. I want to ask you if you heard of this story, during that time, because this is what I believe was floating around the internet. They were saying that allegedly Jay-Z gave Rihanna an STD, and that Rihanna allegedly gave that STD to Chris Brown.
Red flag. Now, of course, this is all alleged, but if this is indeed true, and remember, our good brother D. Haven told us about him burning and yearning. If this is true, it could help to explain why there was such a huge display of violence.
Your husband Jay-Z had a lot to do with Rihanna's early career, and back in February he said he thought everyone should support her in that mess with Chris Brown. How do you feel about that whole thing?
Well, I think she's doing a lot better. She is such a very talented woman and very smart. And I think it's really important in those times of need that people give people their privacy. So all you can do is pray and leave it up to the people around her and her to make great decisions, and she has and she will, and I'm here to support her as well as all of my family. She's like family to me, and all of Jay and all of my family.
R&B singer Chris Brown opened up to Jet magazine for their October issue about his reputation and ended up saying some interesting things about rap mogul Jay-Z. The 24-year-old still can't believe the public won't forgive him for his mistakes regarding Rihanna and is mad that Jay-Z gets a free pass. Chris told the magazine, "This is something I've been dealing with for the past maybe 5 years. Anybody with a voice, Tupac, Michael Jackson, and the Notorious B.I.G. gets formatted. divided, except maybe for Jay-Z, who is accepted by white America because he shakes hands and kisses babies. Nobody brings up the fact that he stabbed somebody and sold drugs.
Sorry to interrupt, but actually it's 2 stabbings and way more other nefarious activities that we have already gone through in this case study. But carry on, Chris. And another thing, everyone knows that the mainstream media is very hypocritical, and they see Jay-Z as an extension of Harvey Weinstein because, you know, he kisses a lot of ass and bootlicks a lot, you know, when it comes to the white folks. But when it comes to us, it's different. You know, there's another standard. He gets mad and he goes on rants at his concerts. But when it comes to the white folks, it's, you know, it's a different protocol. He is going to smile and do whatever he needs to do in order to prop up his image, him and his wife. So let's just make that very clear. But best believe you both are one and the same. Ain't you supposed to be going to jail soon?
He gets a free pass.
And another thing I've noticed is every woman that has dealt with him has had some sort of miscarriage. Allegedly.
All money is legal now.
Yeah.
For the dynasty, $1 million.
Y'all truly ain't ready for this dynasty thing. Y'all thinking Blake Carrington, I'm thinking more like Ming. I got 4 nephews, and they all right in. They all young and wild, plus they all like things. And I'm having a child, which is more frightening.
STDs do cause miscarriages if they are left untreated, just an FYI. So we just gonna leave it at that, but I find it extremely disturbing that he would do this. If this is indeed true, red flag. They should arrest him on that alone.
And that's what caused the fight, the breakup or whatever, that, you know, that Jay-Z was allegedly sleeping with Chris Brown at the same, not Chris Brown, with Rihanna at the same time that Rihanna was sleeping with Jay-Z. Did you hear anything about that? Would you happen to know if that's true, or maybe not true, but if you heard anything about that?
I did hear those rumors, you know, and when you said Jay-Z was sleeping with Chris Brown, I also heard that rumor as well.
Also, you heard a rumor of Jay-Z hooking up with Chris Brown as well?
Yeah, you know, because like Diddy, Jay-Z's sexual preference is peculiar to say the least. And
that's another thing. You, in the last interview, you said that Jay-Z was bi, and that you were 100% sure that he was.
Correct.
How do you know this?
I know it from being around, and without saying, you know, the name of the people, because I know a lot of people don't want to be involved in these type of things because they've moved on in their lives or they have families and everything else. But I was there and I witnessed some very, you know, questionable behavior for sure. And like the tour that I was on with Jay-Z, they did a documentary. It was Jay-Z, DMX, Amil. They made what was the name of the documentary? But it was that tour, and you know, they had trans women on the bus.
Jay-Z being a freak colleague is not a surprise to many of us.
See what you got people doing this year? They balance. Okay. You having fun, baby? Hi. 2 sisters right here. Y'all welcome my man Jay-Z to the show. What up? Okay, but I mean, y'all gotta take something off. My man gotta see some skin. You know, this the peep show, baby.
I'm not surprised in the slightest, nor do I care. Now, one thing I have to make clear is that Jay-Z's sexual preferences does not mean that he is doing anything criminal or illegal. That is his right as a free man. And he can decide who he wants to sleep with. If he wants to pipe down whoever he wants to, he's more than welcome to do so.
And I told the TikToker, went viral like on TikTok yesterday. I was like, well, listen, Ray J is just defending Beyonce and Jay-Z because, you know, Jay-Z's a cuckold. And once again, I know that for 100% of fact. 100% fact. Like I said, go back to academics. You know, academics likes to break stuff down, fact check me and see if I did not work with Drake and get paid with Drake this year. And if I'm working with Drake, then I have access to everybody. So I know that Jay-Z is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyonce with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyonce while Jay-Z would watch. Diddy, as we know, is into those things. That's in the indictment. You know, Cassie has not denied it, but they've came out and said, you know, that Diddy used to like to watch Cassie. That's what he's into.
Diddy's freak-offs, as alleged by prosecutors, are described as elaborate sex marathons. Joining us now is a man who testified in court about his involvement. Sheree Hayes is an exotic dancer known as the Punisher, and he's author of a book that he testified about, In Search of Freezer Meat. We'll ask him about that. But Sheree, thank you for joining us.
Oh, no, my pleasure.
And you come to us as not only a high-profile witness in a high-profile case, perhaps one of the highest-profile cases ever, so you can take the jurors not only into that, but into the freak-offs. Let's just refresh. From a period of 2012 to 2015, you say you were hired by Cassie and Diddy to do what? Walk us through.
Yeah, it started out as supposedly a sexy scene. When I first arrived, it was to Miss Ventura, where I was thinking it was a bachelorette party, but she showed up, pretty much opening the door in a bathrobe. Clearly she was nude under, and I was quickly propositioned to create a scene, a voyeur-like scene where we were supposed to get on couches across from each other. There were bottles of baby all around. It was dimly lit, and we were supposed to do a mutual massage kind of sexual interaction while her husband, which I was told at the time they were a married couple, was going to eventually join the room and watch us. I was specifically told to not acknowledge him, not look at him. We were supposed to act like he wasn't there, and that's kind of weird. That's where the situation started, and that's what thought I was required to do. It was a very odd situation because when he came into the room, I could see that it was he was nude, but he actually had on what I believe is called the burqa. It was kind of those veils that Muslim women wear, where their faces are completely covered, but you can only see their eyes. So it was kind of just an awkward, startled situation because I knew the husband was coming in, but I wasn't expecting him to be nude, and then again with the face covering to kind of conceal his identity.
There was no doubt in your mind that this was a situation, the scenes controlled by Diddy.
Yeah, I was explaining coming in that this was a sexy scene created for the husband. So the energy of the situation, although not aggressive or assertive, but there was clearly understanding that our actions, the lighting, everything was centered around his preference.
Some men like to do that stuff. There's not a crime in that. But yes, Ray J, from what I was told, from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyoncé with different men, such as Ray J.
Because it'd just be a different world that I could experience, but unfortunately, it's just not going in that hole. You know, it's just not. But it's not wrong with whoever,
this
whatever.
Is a court. Do you enjoy having sex with women?
Yes, I do. But I like talking too. Every now and then.
Huh?
I like talking, you know, to certain some of my friends. You know what I'm saying, here and there. But
what do you mean?
Meaning like I do have conversations, and conversations are important. But fucking is probably, you know, probably when you at your best time with somebody, like connecting the dots. Yeah. So yes, I do like it. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Actually, I love it. If we're just being honest, I enjoy it a lot.
Enjoy what?
Having a good time with a beautiful woman, you know. Preferably, you know, my ex-wife, but, you know, it just, unfortunately, right now, we just trying to figure it out. But God bless, we co-parenting really good.
God bless what?
God bless us co-parenting really good.
Amen.
So we can just co-parent, and then, and I can be the best.
Yeah. I was fucking this bad bitch. She fucking me good, and that other girl be crazy. Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. Yeah. You putting in that work. Yeah. Proud of you. I love you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
The reason that Jay-Z and Diddy are deviant is because of the alleged engagement with minors and also non-consenting adults. This is where the criminal activity comes from.
I think the evolution of Jay himself, because, obviously he's a trendsetter and has really molded a lot of rappers since he's been a part of Rockefeller, and obviously everybody does whatever he says.
To B was a very young woman. Now, I did a Rockaware photo shoot in Colorado, and I think it was during the winter time of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there, and he rented this house, and we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house, and we were watching LeBron play, and after the game, it had to have been like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults. There was a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old teenage Latin girl that was there, and I think she had to leave because she had school and she had to do homework, but she brought her mother with her. So it was no funny business going on, which I could respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy? Or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say? And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then, obviously the liquor took hold of me and I had to leave. So I said bye to everybody and left. But those kids remained. I don't know if those kids were from the photo shoot themselves, but the fact that these kids came around adults during drinking hours or partying hours was already alarming to me. So when I hear something like this happens, I can't really discount it and say, oh, he could never do this, because I'm hearing stories, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I've been in situations where something don't sound or look right, and it's usually involving children.
Red flag. In Beyonce's defense, she may not have seen anything wrong with this because her daddy had her performing at clubs along with the other Destiny's Child's members when they were underage. He had that young girl adultified as a teenager. This is not to make an excuse for her because she was 25 at the time of this incident. However, it's just to shed light on what is normalized.
A record deal. We were rehearsing, recording a little bit. So they were there for 2.5, 3 years. They worked hard. But nothing happened. The feedback that I was getting was, they look too sexy. They look too mature.
And when somebody is used to living in a certain environment, they may not see it.
I'll tell you what else is spicy. The new book by Governor Mike Huckabee. Let's talk about the book. In the book, Huckabee is a bit critical of pop star Beyonce and her husband, Jay-Z. He writes, Beyonce is incredibly talented, gifted in fact. Jay-Z is a very shrewd businessman, but I wonder, does it occur to him that he is arguably crossing the line from husband to pimp by exploiting his wife? Recently, the Brody Fowl sat down with Huckabee and we asked him, what's the beef? Get it? Beef, spicy food. Anyway, we asked him, what's the beef with Beyonce? Take a look.
What happened was, I think some reporter who read that section of the book saw Beyonce, decided, oh, this will make news, made a story out of it. And most people who are reacting are not reacting to what I said in the book. They're reacting to what the reporter wrote. And therefore, it's just been remarkable. But I take nothing back, and the point that I was making, if people actually read it, is that there is a culture of crude. We have become more coarse, more crude, more vulgar in our society. And my point of it is that when there's someone who's such a mega talent like Beyonce, she doesn't have to go there.
They may not see the issue. Beyonce is a product of her environment. And Jay-Z is also a product of his environment as well. And this is why it is important to have these conversations. There are people out there who do not believe that children being at parties is problematic. How many times have we heard stories of children being at adult parties with their parents until the wee hours of the morning? And this is a problem that needs to be addressed. Even today, there are children who are being left to their own vices and being left to fend for themselves and being placed in adult type of situations. Look at Northwest as an example. Red flag. You have a 13 to 14-year-old being able to travel across the world to the UK and to perform in front of these grown-ass men. And this is normalized. So we have to be honest when we have these conversations, because for every Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Larry Johnson party, there are many more that are happening inside of people's homes, and nothing is being done to protect the children. Number 2, Beyonce was not pregnant. Beyonce had a surrogate, which means her eggs and Jay-Z's sperm were used, but she didn't carry the baby. That is why the timing was so off and the whole pregnancy was rushed. She announced the pregnancy in August and already gave birth on January 7th. She knew her loyal, hardcore fan base wouldn't question her. White media wouldn't care enough to question her, and people with an actual brain would be labeled haters for questioning her pregnancy. Half of the reason is because Beyonce didn't want to lose her figure, and the other half is because Beyonce realized her music wasn't as popular as it was before. Just when you think you've heard it all, you just haven't even scratched the surface of this crazy ass story. Now, Beyonce was accused of using a surrogate because in 2014 a woman came out and she claimed she gave Jay-Z and Beyonce her eggs in order to conceive Blue Ivy. Now let's read yet another article titled "Beyonce Releases Raunchy Trailer as Woman Claims to be Blue Ivy's Mom." As Beyonce and Jay-Z are wronged by a woman claiming she is their daughter, Blue Ivy's real mother, they've released a trailer for their upcoming HBO documentary. Last week, it was reported that homeless surrogate Tina Seals has allegedly filed a lawsuit against a superstar couple, claiming that she gave her eggs to B32 and 44-year-old Jay-Z. Now, Tina reportedly wants compensation and bizarrely a record deal with Beyonce's label Sony. Lord, this woman is some type of work. Then it goes on to say she has previously issued lawsuits against Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, among others, but all of them were dismissed. Meanwhile, the trailer for their On the Run documentary sees a sultry Beyonce channeling Nancy Sinatra. Of course she is. You know, she always channeling some type of spirit, giving a smooth rendition of Bang Bang. Jay-Z looks on as his wife serenades him with her best performer in the world. His words, skills. You know, he gotta sell the skills because, you know, they need to make money to pay off his damn debts. If the black and white clip at the start wasn't enough to get you excited, the performance footage that follows definitely will be. Now, Tina Seals not only filed a lawsuit, but she also wrote a book. You can find it on Amazon and also via Walmart Business, and it's titled Why I Sued the Carters. And she is no longer Tina Seals. She has rebranded into a prophetess. You know, she done found the Lord and all. Now, do I believe this story is credible? Who knows in this crazy world? We're just gonna say we believe it because it does make sense. Of course they would go and accost a homeless woman to be the egg donor, because then they have lack of tracing, and also who's going to believe the story? Exactly. I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that, but exactly, whatever, whoever's egg was used. At this point, we are just going to say that there is maybe a high probability that somebody else's eggs were used for the album. Her album 4 didn't necessarily flop, but you have to admit it didn't do huge superstar numbers that Beyonce is used to. She wanted that fame back, and nothing brings more fame than a baby. Beyonce's surrogate is unknown Latina female. Well, I mean, I could have told you that album flopped when she had that man, the record label guy. What's his name again? Whatever the guy's name is. The one who worked the 72-hour shift to finish 6 songs. That's crazy. Number 4, Jay-Z and Beyonce don't sleep in the same room. They try to play up a huge front like they are a picture perfect happy couple, but they can't stand each other behind doors. I'm assuming they meant closed doors. There is a power struggle. Beyonce wants control, but Jay-Z needs it. 5. Beyonce is not as dumb as you think. It's a front. She is not a good speaker, but she is far from stupid. She hates that some people view her as a stupid singer and is trying to change that. Number 6, Blue Ivy. Beyonce rarely takes care of her. She has several nannies and they all do the hard work. She is not mother material. All she wants to do is sing and dance. She doesn't have a bond with Blue Ivy. Now, I don't know who wrote this, but y'all take this with a grain of salt. Number 7, Jay-Z, on the other hand, can't get enough of his new daughter and is obsessed with her looks. He doesn't want her to look like him at all. She thinks it will ruin her. I'm assuming he meant he thinks. Who wrote this? Jay-Z is a very insecure man about his looks after hearing he is ugly all his life and even hearing it from his own wife. Yeah, that was true. Remember, the uncle said that she wasn't his first choice. I mean, to be honest with you, Jay-Z's not ugly. I called him a chipmunk because he does look like a chipmunk because of his cheeks, but not because he's ugly. Chipmunks are actually pretty cute. Beyonce is a heavy drinker. She has done cocaine before, but not frequently. She smokes weed from time to time. Listen, whatever she does in her extracurriculars is none of my damn concern. Jay-Z's true love is a woman from Brooklyn. He still visits and takes care of her, but they do not have a sexual relationship. You talking about Foxy? Kathy White had threatened to reveal her relationship with Jay-Z. And that's why she was allegedly taken right up out of here. Then little more than 48 hours after the announcement that Beyonce was pregnant with Jay-Z's baby, this young lady suddenly passes away under suspicious circumstances. This is legit tea, but people are not believing it because of who it's about. It's sad. That's how Beyonce and Jay-Z will never fall from the top. Too many gullible people out here worshiping them. Now again, you can take all of this at face value. However, I'm a person who likes to ask questions, and the question's a questioning right now. We may never know what ultimately caused Kathy's passing, but whether it was accidental or whether it was suspicious will remain to be unknown until we can get further information. And to be honest with you, wherever there's a pattern and wherever there's smoke, there's definitely fire. Now we will let our good sis Kathy rest in peace, and let's continue with the story.
I'm just want to tell you. Mama help, I fell in love with a young girl. Ho got a young girl, still not quite 21. So high strung, such a vibrant thing. I introduce myself, hi Miss Thing. You're 19, no, you're lightning in the bottle. I'll give you a ring tomorrow. The scene that follows, streams of horror, classic Stephen King novel.
Jay-Z and I are very good friends, and we've hung out a lot, and that happens in the business a lot. If you have friends in the industry and people see you together, they assume that, you know, you're dating or you're with that person. Then that's not the case with Jay and I. Now, as far as my personal life is concerned, I don't really discuss it. And the reason I don't is because when you become a public figure, your life really belongs to people. It belongs to the public, and that's fine. That comes with the territory. But there's some things you have to hold on and keep for yourself. And that part of my life is definitely for me. So I don't discuss my relationship status.
How's everything going? Everything's going pretty good. Yeah. Okay, let's clear something up, because you know I've been getting a rundown on the street. Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or friends. let's just get the record straight.
I better go get me a white Jeep.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. This is my best friend.
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found who? In the whole wide world.
And for the record, you are how old?
That's a secret.
Were you aware of the issues going on with R. Kelly when they were going on?
No, didn't have a clue. Completely ignorant to it.
Do you think anyone in the family was?
Yes. I think my sister knew a lot more than what we thought she knew.
Red flag. Stay tuned for part 18 of Drunken Crime.